Hi, TechRabbit here. So now we're continuing our series looking at Rust UI frameworks, and now we're going to have a look at something called Tauri. So let's get started. So, as usual, we look it up on create-tauri-app. There we find it. So, it seems to be up to version 2.5.1, and they do have a link to a home page. And on the home page, they actually do have quite a lot of information, including they have guides, and have references, and a blog, and stuff like that. So I would say from a documentation perspective, not that bad. And then they have a repository, and as usual it's on GitHub. So I've read brief descriptions from several locations, but the one that I've captured was framework for building desktop applications with web technologies. Uses WebViews to render the UI. You can use HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Provides a native look and feel with good performance. So then we just address the main key issues. Multi-OS platform, yep, it seems to be supported. Native look and feel on Windows, and this was like yes and no, but I'll give it a yes this time. But it was a bit of a tricky thing to say if one could call it native, because it's rendering in a web browser environment. And then web application support, and I would say that yes, but it's more like you're building applications with web technologies, not necessarily web applications. So it's a bit of a it was a bit of a tricky to categorize. I just wanted to show if one goes to the create-tauri index for it, and then one scrolls down to the bottom, then there is some little bit of a weird thing that you have consistent version numbering, and then the latest entry kind of looks a bit strange, but it's not reflected in the index. On the top level index, when you search for Tauri, then it's stating this version, and then you have this odd entry here. I don't know, maybe it'll disappear over time. So GitHub stats stuff. So the version is 2.5.1 is the latest. 93.1 kilo likes. Let's see if that's increased since I last checked it. Yeah, look at that. It's gone up 98.7 kilo stars. That seems to be. And it wasn't that long time ago I actually looked when I was making the script for the videos. And then development activity is considered to be very active development. And then a little bit coming back to reflecting on the documentation, I think that one can say, yep, it has documentations. And does it have examples? Yes, I would say that. In all fairness, I would say that yes, it does have examples. Then when it comes to setting it up, do you need to do anything else but add an entry in Cargo.toml? Theoretically, you would need to. It uses WebView too, and basically non-issue. I mean, it's in some Windows WebView 2 came into the picture in from version Windows 10 version 2.803. I don't know. I just wanted to mention that one. I'm pretty much guaranteed that most people are running a newer version of Windows 10 or Windows 11. And then also if you want to use the JavaScript frontend framework, and then you need to manually install the Node.js. But I'll put these comments also in the description of the video. So anyway, let's go and have a look at the actual code. So let's see if I can explain this. So Tauri is like built. The idea behind Tauri is that it uses, in this case I'm running on Windows. So you have Windows in the base, and then you have Rust running. Yeah, basically the Rust development environment. And then the idea is that on top of that you put the Tauri environment. And then on top of the Tauri environment it runs this, that you can actually develop applications using pure web technologies. And so that's, you get this, and I'll add this to the comments, but it's also in the documentation. So then it actually has, I won't run it because I already have. You basically what you do is you let's see now. So you install this create-tauri-app in the Rust environment, and then it actually has its own project creation. So similar to creating a cargo package, but then this has its own. It runs that application. So like this, so cargo create-tauri-app, and then this will ask questions about what kind of a project name, identifier, which language to use in the front end, and then the UI template to use. So that's the way I created this baseline application. I'm just going to go through a few highlights. So it actually has a little README here. It recommends a certain add-ons to be used in with the Visual Studio Code. And as I said, Tauri plus Vanilla, this is the one I selected. So Tauri and Vanilla. So as you see, pure web tech. And the most interesting, and then we have here like this build command, and then the run command is a bit different from what we're used to for running general Rust apps. Let's see. So the kind of layout of the specific project is according to the Tauri logic. So basically, it has this wrapper that then actually executes your application. So it starts running it, and then I'll try and find that. There. So it comes into here, and then this basically the only thing this does, it just calls that run, and then the run function is, so it's got some boilerplate code, and then here you have the main run. And then I tried to actually put some documentation that wasn't included. But the idea is that this here starts up the web app framework, and then basically after this is up and running, then it will actually execute the here, which is the actual application. And as you see here, it's like pure HTML. So this is like the main page, and then you have some JavaScript associated with it, and then it has a style, CSS. So basically, when you get to this level, then if you are a web developer or more comfortable working in them, so then here you basically you just use you use HTML, JavaScript, CSS, all the other, and then you manage assets, of course, different graphics and stuff. So yeah, pretty good environment for those that want to actually move from pure web server-based application development into creating web applications as applications. Another thing is that this can you can create using the same code. You can create it for different platforms, so like different mobile platforms and stuff. So it's as I said, like the Tauri stack builds on top of different environments and then runs on top of everything. So you can use it on multiple. So anyway, let's have a look at what the actual application looks like. So here's the simple message box application. And I mean, it's just simple. It just writes this text. But as you see, this is you can see like that this is a basically this is a embedded web page, and then you have all the, if you look at the HTML code and stuff, you'll see exactly, and then there's a bit of JavaScript to support it. So that yeah, interesting. Basically a little bit deviation from the other platforms I've been showing. So this pretty much as quickly as possible tries to push you into the web, developing. Yeah, the application development goes to pure HTML, JavaScript, and CSS, and yeah. So for those that are coming from a web application development perspective, this is pretty good. Yeah, for creating desktop applications and mobile applications. So anyway, that was a brief introduction into Tauri, and I don't know if I did a super good job of explaining it, but yeah, very interesting for those that are into web, using developing applications using web technologies. And this very quickly abstracts you to a higher level from that perspective. So yeah. So I hope you found this interesting and useful, and see you in the next one.